If you're ready to harness the power of your communications data, blast off with Nihilist today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Coding with Nihilist. So on this live stream, we talk about building with APIs, different programming languages, building with the Nihilist APIs, and as well other things. And my name is Ram, and I'm a developer advocate at Nihilist.
Hi, I'm Blag, Senior Developer Advocate here at Nihilist.
Hi, Blag. How you been?
I've been doing good, although my allergies started kicking this morning for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of rough morning. What about you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to kind of jump in this live stream, but I think we're going to take a quick segue and talk about our hackathon. Did you want to go ahead?
For sure, totally. So remember that we have a hackathon going on. You can go to nihilist.thepost.com to sign in. So let me share a little something that I built. It's kind of like some statistics so you know about the hackathon. So far we have 3,022 participants. The top countries that we have 688 coming from the US, 604 coming from India, 136 from Canada, 81 from Nigeria, and United Kingdom 80. And there's a special mention to Peru, which has 5 participants because Peru is my home country. So I'm excited to see it there.
That's awesome.
And for the top job, for the top jobs, we have like 101 full stack, 55 data scientists, 20 front end, 18 back end, and 13 business, whatever that means.
That's really cool. It seems like you can set up some really good teams across the front end, back end, and business, and even data scientists. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So remember to go to the site, nihilistthepost.com, go to Nihilist to create an account, and don't forget that the deadline is October 2nd, 2023 at 6 p.m. EDT. So with that, all yours, Ram. What are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to talk about building a two-sided marketplace. So we'll break down what a two-sided marketplace is, and then we're going to talk about including in-app scheduling and live chat.
Nice.
And before we jump into that, I think someone wanted to say hi. So hi, Donovan.
Oh, nice.
I just saw a comment for the first time. So
cool.
Thanks for the message. But yeah, I think it's good to kind of first understand what is a two-sided marketplace. So this is something that maybe a few people understand, maybe developers or people in business understand a bit, but I just want to go through and talk about what it is, how does it normally work. So let's go through some examples, and then we'll talk about how can you build a two-sided marketplace that includes both scheduling and as well live communication. So whether it be chat, video, or audio.
Cool.
I don't know, Blag, if you have examples, but the one that comes to mind for me is when you have like buyers and sellers. So if someone's trying to sell something, maybe the season's changing, or they want to sell like their lawnmower, they're going to put it on a marketplace, and they're going to have people that want to buy it. So that's a good example of a two-sided marketplace where you have buyers and sellers. You have different types of users trying to complete different types of tasks. And what we thought of was actually building a two-sided marketplace for healthcare.
Cool.
So in our use case, what we wanted to do was say, how can we serve the healthcare industry that have healthcare providers? So it could be someone that's doing physiotherapy or physiotherapist, and as well patients that want to meet a physiotherapist and get physiotherapy. So that's a good example of a two-sided marketplace in healthcare, where you have healthcare providers and you have patients or users.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
And this is where we actually came up with the idea of working with Stream. So for the past few months, we've been building out this project with Stream. And the idea is, how can we combine in-app scheduling and as well live chat in the healthcare industry to create a two-sided marketplace where healthcare providers can put in their availability, and then patients or users that want to use a healthcare provider, they can book availability with them, and they can get on a call with them to have a live communication, such as a live chat, a video, or audio call.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I want to first jump in and do an app overview just to give an idea of what the app looks like.
Yeah.
Before we look at any code, so I'm just going to show some screenshots of like what's the idea, what we propose as our use case, and then from there we can kind of look at some backend code as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so here I'm just showing that, okay, we have a mobile application. So the idea was we're going to create an iOS application that patients can go in and book appointments. So they'd have availability to communicate, and as well they'll have the ability to show their calendars. And this is where Nihilus comes in, where you can actually use Nihilus calendars in almost any application to kind of service availability and to do scheduling workflows.
Cool.
So maybe just kind of move a bit forward. I want to show what the application actually looks like. So here is an example of a patient coming into the application. And what they can do is they can schedule an appointment, and they can see all their past appointments. And the idea is as soon as they type in or they click schedule appointment, they can start surfacing different providers and their availability to determine, hey, is this a provider I want to book an appointment with? Are they available at my specific time slot?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually you call on the phone and you get like, what do you have available? Or do you have to take another? Here, if you actually have like a list of what's available, that's pretty useful.
And how we actually split this up, because this is always interesting when you're working in development teams, is who does the front end, who does the back end, how do we communicate with each other? What we decided was Nihilus would work on the back end because we have a lot of APIs that we need to work with, or we would do the API integration since Nihilus is predominantly an API platform. We do have UI components like our scheduler, but for this use case, we would set up the backend and then Stream would consume our backend and build out the actual front end that we're showing right now. So I just want to show what our backend endpoints look like before we kind of look through any more screens. So on the left side, we have our database. So we have 3 different tables. We have the Nihilus accounts, which would be any one of our Nihilus accounts that we create for a user. We would have events. So this would store any appointments that have been booked. And then we'd have all the different types of users. So whether it be a healthcare provider or a patient, we would store all their information in the users table. So the idea is that events would reference users, and as well Nihilus accounts would reference users. So a good example here is if I'm offering, if I'm a physiotherapist, I would create a user account, and automatically I would create a Nihilus account as well. And this Nihilus account would have a calendar associated with it. So the physiotherapist would have a calendar for themselves, and they can input their availability in that calendar. And then if I'm a user and I'm looking to book a physiotherapist, I would go through and see the availability of that Nihilus calendar. And this is something I know Blag and I have talked about in the past, is how do you work with virtual calendars? And what you can do using Nihilus is you can build out virtual calendars that are independent of personal calendars or other calendars that an individual may have. So a user or patient would actually book a time slot within the virtual calendar, and it would show up in the events table. So this is how we could store all the events for a specific user.
Cool.
And then anytime we would want to look up the event, we can just kind of grab the event for those users or for that specific user and display it to them. And then from there, they can go ahead and join that call with a specific healthcare provider. And on the right side, I should have mentioned this earlier, but here are all the endpoints we have for creating these different workflows. So the first section is all users need to sign up, log in, log out, do the basic stuff. And then we have providers. So for providers, you can actually grab all the providers. You can get a specific provider. You can grab a provider by specialty, such as a physiotherapist. You can get the provider's availability. And then the last 2 are specific to a provider where they want to see all their appointments when they log into the app. And as well, they want to share their availability. And then the last section is just all the user endpoints. So here, a user wants to get all their appointments. They may want to grab information for a specific appointment, or they actually want to grab, actually this one may be a duplicate, but this is kind of grabbing appointments as well. So you're grabbing your specific appointment. And then as well, they want to create appointments. So if they see a time slot that's available, they can actually go ahead and create the appointment.
Awesome.
So putting this all together, I'm just going to show you the UI flow once more. And this is all going to be available on GetStream's website. So they're going to do a blog post very soon where they share all this, how they built this out and how they integrated with our backend. But here we have our calendar. So this is for a specific healthcare provider. You can book a specific time slot. You can see all the details for that appointment. And then you can see that the appointment's been booked. And you can change it, you can modify it. And as well, you can get more details about that appointment. And then from there, you can go ahead and have in-app communication. So you can have a live chat, you can have a live call, or you can have a live video as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and all the communication, the in-app communication outside of scheduling is built by Stream. So this is something that they offer. If you go to getstream.io, you can see all the different products and features they have available with regards to in-app communication.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah. So next, we're going to take a look at the code base. But before we do that, we always love it when you like and subscribe our videos.
Totally.
Please go ahead, like and subscribe us on the interweb. So at Nihilist, if you ever see us or come across us, we love to get your feedback. We love to get your comments, and especially your thumbs up on our videos so we can do more of them.
Yeah, and don't forget to click on the little bell to get notified once we release a new episode or when new is coming.
Cool. So we're going to do an API demo next. And we're actually going to take a look at, let me share. First of all, I just want to show the repo. There we go, right here. So we've actually put the repo together online. So it's available for you to take a look at. And I'll make sure it's public after this video. So you can take a look at it at github.com/nihilist-samples/two-sided marketplace. So here in our GitHub samples, we do have a lot of code samples, but this one walks you through how you can actually build a two-sided marketplace using both Nihilist and Stream, specifically focusing on the backend. So we have all the different tutorials on like what you need to do, how you can get started, and as well, essentially our API spec. So what this is this is just like a breakdown of all the different endpoints that I've gone through and how you can go about using them to actually create different workflows for both your patients and as well your providers, from like authenticating users, creating availability, and booking appointments. So now that we've taken a look at the actual GitHub, let's go through and take a look at an API demo. So I'm just going to go to my terminal. So I do have the backend server running.
Okay.
So this was actually taken from our quick start guide. So we took our read and send, read and create calendar quick start guide, and we just modified it for our specific use case here, where we're able to create appointments and create accounts and as well book availability.
Nice.
So the first thing I want to do is I've already created some information. I've already created some accounts. And here is an example of just retrieving a provider's information. So here's like all the information for that provider. The ID is going to be like a string. It has information about like their image, what's their full name, and as well their specialty.
That's awesome.
So as a user, what I would want to do, so I'm just going to go through different curl commands of like going through and making a request for an appointment. So here, I just want to show you a user. So the user is ID is melissa.price, and they just want to see the availability of psychiatrists or someone that's in psychiatry. So here, they can actually get the calendar and all the information available from Nihilist for that specific, for all the different healthcare providers that specialize in psychiatry. And the next thing I want to do is I just want to show that here is a provider, and they're just requesting all their different appointments. So I think it's something like this. You take the provider ID, and we just need to modify this one as well. And you can get all the different appointments for that provider. So these are all the appointments that have been booked with them. And so this, in essence, we're not modifying too much of the Nihilist data. We're just sending information back and forth from the Nihilist API. So this is almost like a proxy in some sense of sending the event data back and forth. And we just built it this way just for development purposes, just so we can give all the information to the front end. And then if we're to iterate on this, we can decide what information we want to hide, what information we want to modify, or even format differently for the front end. So here I want to show you an example of setting availability. So what we're doing here is we're actually setting the availability for a provider. So we're going to create a start and end time. So what it's going to do is it's going to block off that time and show that it's available for that provider. And then I'm going to take it on the flip side, where I'm going to take a patient that wants to book an appointment. So here's a patient. So we're going to do a post request to the appointments endpoint, and we're going to take the provider ID. We're going to take the start and end time, and we can modify the title if we want. But here we're just booking an appointment in the actual healthcare provider's calendar. So here is the booking appointment inside of the healthcare provider's calendar. And last but not least, just to wrap this up, I just want to show all the appointments that an individual has. So this is going to be a patient, and here is a curl command to grab all of the patient's appointments. So here I can actually grab all the appointment information, and this is coming straight from Nihilus. We're not actually modifying the data in any way. And we can actually show this on the front end. So we can show, hey, these are all your upcoming appointments. These are all the providers, and you can go ahead and have a call with them. We can set reminders and notifications within the application or even through email, so that you can always make sure that you make your specific call with that provider.
Nice. And this is, by the way, the first time I'm seeing this, so it's pretty exciting. Yeah. Yeah, I knew you were working on this, but I have never seen anything related, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a chance to go through this, and there is more to come. So we do have some blog posts on ours where we talk about healthcare and scheduling. We'll share the GitHub repo as well. So it's again, it's at our GitHub's Nihilus samples. So it's two-sided marketplace. So you can see the full application, the backend application, and as well, we're going to have more content coming up on getstream.io. So I just want to share my screen once more.
Sure.
And I just want to put up their website. So here we go. So if you go to getstream.io, you can take a look at all the functionality that they have, where they build in-app chat, video, and audio. So this is all functionality that you can essentially drag and drop within your application.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're actually really excited to kind of wrap up a lot of the content that we've been working on with Getstream. So look forward to more content coming out from Getstream in the coming weeks on how to build out the front end using the back end that we went through today.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Let me give people a little reminder that we have live streams every Wednesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And
what's next?
So I thought it was going to be just a 3 pieces series, but it's actually going to be a 4th one. So it's going to be how to send an email using PyWeb.io. So that's kind of like continue what we did with Nice GUI, with Reflex, and with Solara. This time it's going to be with PyWeb.io.
That's exciting.
It's another Python full stack framework.
Well, I need to catch up on the JavaScript side, so I always look forward to these.
Cool, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this live stream. Thanks for everyone for joining, and we'll see you at the next one.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Ram. That was great.
Bye, everyone.